Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Super.
So, could you tell us about innovation in Latin America?
Okay, if you are talking about Latin American approach with innovation, we are a blended between European model and USA model. What I mean is that, for example, in Latin America, all what we teach it in business school is related between, it's about a manual, Oslo manual, and Oslo manual is from here, from Europe. And we're talking about that approach, also all our policies, the national laws about how to promote innovation are connected with Oslo, Manual Oslo. So that is why we have that approach. But on the other hand, if we are talking about the business, how we make business, is more related with the USA model. We, in the last decade, we have developed a strong new ecosystem, digital ecosystem. We are developing new big projects in digital file. Just to give you an example, Mercado Libre is the largest company in Latin America. Mercado Libre is a marketplace. It's like our Amazon. Just to talk about some numbers, just before to come here, I was checking the market cap of Mercado Libre, and it's $105 billion, just that company. And it's a marketplace, and it's from Argentina. We also have something, for example, like Nubank, that is the largest digital bank in the world outside of Asia. That was developed for a Colombian guy in the Brazilian market. Just they have 125 millions of clients around the world. If you compare that, for example, with solutions, European solutions, here is very famous Revolut. Revolut has maybe 65 millions of clients. That is from England. Also, you have here very strong startup unicorn from Estonia, that is Wise. Wise has 60 million. So this is the kind of innovation that is happening right now in Colombia. And we also, the new generation, as your generation, are becoming so competitive. In my generation, we struggle a lot with English, a lot. I have a lot of histories about that. But the new generation, more or less on your age maybe, all of them are almost as a native speakers in English and in Spanish. So right now we have a new generation of innovators that are going to get some grounds for innovators. For example, we are applying very consistent to venture capitals like Y Combinator, that is the most famous venture capital around the world. As all region, Latin America, each batch of Y Combinator has the second place after Europe. Just to give you an idea, in the whole batch of course, without counting USA, Europe has more or less 380 startups that have taken part in Y Combinator. Latin America, more or less 270, just to give you an idea. So we are the second region having this kind of startups for the rest of the world. So what I mean is that we are so competitive now. This is very exciting moment for Latin America if we are talking about innovation. But also we have big challenge. We have a lot of problems with innovation, specific in the large corporations. But we can talk about that later.
So if you could give like one example maybe of lesson that people in Europe could learn from people from Latin America about innovation, what would it be?
One lesson. I think that we are not in a position to give lesson, but
maybe advice.
Maybe advice. Our approach about innovation is innovation just happens when entrepreneurs make it real. So you can have fantastic and wonderful ideas, but ideas don't work. It doesn't make any sense to have a lot of beautiful ideas if you don't have actions on those ideas. In Latin America, we connect how we can make that something happen. We do it in the way that when we want to become innovators, first we work in ourselves about how we become entrepreneurs. not just dreamers. I know that to dream is important, but it's not enough.
Of course.
We need to make that thing happen. And in Colombia, I'm Colombian, but in general in Latin America, maybe advice that we can give, I don't know if this is the perfect advice, but when we want to do something real, we need to fall in love with that. So it's something related, not about passion, that with passion and love, we really get committed what we want to achieve. And when you have that approach, work is not work, you are not working, you are just enjoying, it's different. So yes, that's it, I think so.
Would you say that people in Europe or in Poland have less passion towards innovation or what they are starting to do?
No, I wouldn't say that. No, I wouldn't say that. I think that we have different cultures. We were talking about that a few moments ago. We have different cultures. I think that Polish people in general, at the beginning, they are more serious, more structured.
For sure.
They are very focused on the process. That is great. Our culture is different. We are super open-minded, super flexible. That is good, but at the same time, it's challenging. Because, for example, we have a lot of mistakes with the process. And Polish people is super well organized with the process. So I think that you need to combine and blend that kind of, both skills are so important. Both of them are important, could be hard or soft skill, but all those skills are needed if you want to set up something. So when you go to Poland, you need to get used to as a Latin, that here is a structure that you need to respect and follow. But of course, as a Latin, you can lose your Latin soul, you know. We need to keep enjoying, laughing, being flexible. So I wouldn't say that you are better or we are better. I think that we are different. And that is the powerful thing, that both are different, both have hard way. I think that we can learn from each other.
So also when it comes to universities, is it visible between universities in Colombia and European universities? Is it very visible that the difference in how people work?
Talking about work?
In business, in innovation.
And I think that the biggest difference is not about, it's again about the cultures. It's not about if we are talking about a business school, it's about our cultures. We are super flexible people, and I think that this is something good. And we are also people that need to enjoy what we are doing. So that difference is huge, but it's about culture. So, for example, a Latin is difficult that performance well if we don't feel that we love that what we are doing. That sounds nice, but also is bad, because if you don't have, if you are not strict, you sometimes, if you want to make innovation, you have to take also the bureaucracy path sometimes, you know, the process. So that's good, but at the same time it's challenging again. So I think that that is the main difference. And for us is, it's good because we are flexible. We don't get frustrated fast. If something happens, we just adapt. We are super mega flexible.
Do you think that people in Poland or in Europe should be more flexible in what they're doing?
I think that perhaps yes, because flexible is more about changes. Is something, the unique thing that you have sure in the life is that changes are coming. The unique thing that you can 100% sure in your plan is that changing will come. That's all. So the reaction that you have as a person is something, a skill that you need to develop. The change, if a change arrives to your life, crash your plan, and if you get frustrated, who lost?
Yeah, we are losing for sure in this case.
Yes, but I think that is not about, again, it's not about Europe, it's not about Poland, it's about as a humans. If you are negative and if you feel frustrated all the time because plans change, so maybe you need to work in develop new skills to become closer to an innovator, you know what I mean?
Yes, for sure. Could you tell us a little bit more about approach to failures in Latin America?
In Latin America, I think that we have a challenge also with failures. As whatever human, we try to keep in the comfort zone all the time. And people at my age, most of them, they prefer to go for a corporate path. So they want to have a stable income and start to grow up in a company. That is normal. But a lot of Latin Americans, we prefer to become entrepreneurs, for example. Mm-hmm. And if you compare, for example, the data of the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, Latin America is the most entrepreneurial region on the world. But when you analyze the situation, is because our difference of context. In Europe, just to give me an idea, if we are talking about Latin America, there is an indicator, like a radio. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to say it in English, but it's like a radio to measure how entrepreneurial is a nation, and it's related exactly with if we take or not risks. Mm-hmm. So if you compare that radio, Latin America is around 27%. If you compare that with Europe, Europe is around 8%. So in that case, it looks like we are super entrepreneurs, mm-hmm. no? Because we take the risk. But when you have an environment where you don't have a stable income, you don't have a strong corporation, so you have to try it or try it. Even we have Oppenheimer, that is a good writer, that he say you have to innovate or die. We have to take the decision what we have mm-hmm. to do. So when you have something stable, as a human, because we are Latin Americans, you try to keep your comfort zone, you protect your income, to protect your normal path to grow up in your career. But because our situation, economical reality, or politician reality also, we have to take risk. So that is the biggest difference between Europe in general and Latin America. So for that reason, we don't want Anne Smith said something about the mano invisible, invisible hand. Mm-hmm. The invisible hand of Anne Smith always push us. The market push us to take the risk. But if the market, for example, I have been here living in Poland almost 6 years, you have a wonderful economy, a lot of nice policies, and I see that a lot of people prefer stay stable, and it's nice, it's normal. But if you want to become different, you need to take a risk.
Do you think if in stable corporate jobs, is there a place to have entrepreneurial mindset?
I don't think so. I don't think that is possible. I think that is needed. If you want to set up a success area inside of a big corporation, you always are going to need innovators and entrepreneurs. And remember, entrepreneurs make the innovation reality because they try. Mm-hmm. They take the risk that the average people don't want to take. So for that reason, entrepreneur people are super important in whatever society. So yes, it's important, it's needed, but it's super challenging. It's easier to make innovation in a startup mm-hmm. than in a large corporation. Why? Because in a startup, you are the owner, you have your partner, your co-founder or whatever, your C-level, and you have a small talk like this, and mm-hmm. you just take the decision. But in a large corporation, you need to go with your team, talk to them, arrange, and after that you have to go to your direct boss, and after that go for a committee, so take a lot of bureaucracy to achieve something, just to try it. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm also a lecturer, but my main role is being an entrepreneur, and we work with large corporations. We work like with Coca-Cola, Komatsu, that kind of company that are big, and what we provide them is entrepreneur approach. How become inside of a company entrepreneur, that people want to take the risk to try something new mm-hmm. and make it possible, and don't feel as a loser if they lost, if they don't get what they were looking for. I think because that is they are afraid because they don't wanna be etiquette as a losers. This is one of the main things. So yes, I think that is needed if you wanna do it, but it's super challenging. I don't remember the data here in Europe. Yes, I remember. Just talking about activities related with science, innovation, and research. In Latin America, large corporations just invest less than 1% of our GDP. It's like nothing. If we compare, for example, with Europe is around 2.7. That is almost 3 times that ours. But if you compare with the top, the country that most invests in that kind of activities, is Israel. They invest 6% of them GDP. So this is absolutely different mindset. So especially in large corporations, because take too much time, you need too much process to just try it. So yes, as a review is necessary.
Can you tell us about how to innovate in the coffee industry? And I know that you work with Juan Valdez. So can you tell us about how to innovate in the corporate environment in LATAM?
In LATAM, I think that is the same in whatever region. First, you need to try it. So you need entrepreneur soul to try it, and don't be afraid about taking risk. That is the first things. And the second one is just you need to get focused on the problems that real matter. Juan Valdez is one of our most important clients. Juan Valdez, for the people that don't know it, is the largest coffee company in Colombia.
Delicious one.
Yeah, it's a good one. Do you like?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes.
And right now they have big challenge, for example, how to integrate to the business model to the small farmers. Because that model, I don't know how to call it, it's like a cooperation between small farmers and a big brand. So the big brand buy all production of the small farmers. So for that reason we have a lot of different kind of coffees. Because our coffee in Colombia is growing different levels, so we have different tests, something with, for example, a bit of flower of orange or more stronger. So because of that, because we have small farmers everywhere around Colombia, one of the biggest challenges is how they understand innovation, or how they can make it possible. A lot of those people, they don't know anything about business. They don't know anything about fancy terms of innovation. They just need to understand what they need to set up successfully the small business model. So right now we're working with Juan Valdez, and one of our goals is how we can take the innovation to all regions, make it easier. And we are working in a concept that is called frugal innovation. That you can make possible innovation just with some few resources that you have. You don't need, for example, a big budget to make the innovation possible. You just need to have a look around you, what is around you, and try to use it to try to solve the problem that you have.
Oh, so now you're telling the story of Jugaad innovation, and this was like in the American version of the approach. It's called frugal innovation, and also I can see it here that even when we talk about the general concept, we can read that this is about coffee growing families. So the company teaches them how to develop their business, and also you don't see it, but I can read it. This is about reinvesting a percentage of the sales in the well-being of Colombian coffee producers, right? So it's also about sustainability.
Yes, it is. It's very related with sustainability.
Okay, so because in Poland, we don't have this resource-based view on management because we don't have coffee, for example.
Yeah.
So we don't have this kind of resources, and your industry or your economy is based on the resources, like natural resources. And can you tell me about how to innovate in a situation that you are so limited with the access to the resources like coffee beans?
Yeah, I have to be super humble because I am not expert about that approach of innovation, but I can talk about what I have seen. My point of view is that in Latin America, we are crazy rich. We have a lot of resources, whatever you see. For example, Venezuela is the country that has more oil around the world, even more than Arabic countries.
Yeah.
In Colombia, that is my country, we are the second largest biodiversity country on the world per square meter. But our problem is that we don't have a good administration of those resources. We don't know how to connect a business that protect our resources and make it sustainable during the time. So this is one of our business, our main problems in Latin America, that we need to develop more skills across all industries to make it long-term innovation, not just to take a business and try to extract all money that you can get, and after that you destroy the resources. That it was the approach for a lot of years. I won't say that we already got the solutions, because we don't. We're still working on that. We have, for example, Amazonas. We share Amazonas with Brazil, with Peru, and Amazonas is maybe the most important part talking about biodiversity in the world, and we're still having problems, for example, with people that cut the trees, take, for example, so massive production of cows and destroy the local environment. We're still having that problem, and for me, it's unreasonable. But I think that the point is that we need to understand until what time or point we can make an innovation long term, not just for a while.
That's one of the paradoxes of innovation, that you need to think both in short and long term perspective. Okay, let's move to creativity, because this is like one of my, it was one of my greatest discoveries after my visit to Bogota, that you treat creativity as something casual, that for us, for Polish people, art is about going to museum, right? And for you, it's about graffiti or going to these creative districts. Can you tell us about what's so special about approach to creativity?
Yeah, I think that for us, if we think about creativity as an average person, we think more about having fun. Having fun, going to dance, paint, being out of the box, but it's not the real meaning. So we really enjoy being different. We don't want to be the average. Yeah. So that is our approach. But when you, as I know that you are on that file, when you take that ability that it was born with you, creativity, and you give it a focus, try to solve something, that is the real powerful creativity. And we don't have that focus. Okay, the average, of course, they are innovators also that use the creativity to become entrepreneurs and innovators later. But we need to work on that, because we just have fun for having fun. But it's not enough. We need, okay, if you are talking about innovation, the real meaning of innovation is solve something that changes the life or to the people. So we need to work more on that. We have a misunderstanding as a society in Latin America of creativity. Have to work more hard on that.
Wow, okay, thank you for this very open and honest answer. And the next question is about the source of inspiration. Because in Poland we love instructions. Like, of course, it's generalization, but we love instructions. So some people are waiting to be given a list of instructions with KPIs, with indicators of success, and they just follow. They just want to fit into this framework. And your approach is a bit different. You can improvise a bit. So how can we teach? How can we learn from? Please tell us how would you teach us this kind of flexibility? Going beyond the instruction.
I wouldn't say that we have something to teach, but we have different approach.
Okay.
I think that the main point is not the way, it's the ending. So if you tell me that our goal is to arrive there in that corner, and we build together a plan, and we say, okay, Monica, we are going to walk 3 steps here, we are going turning right there, and whatever. But the camera fell down. So if you,
no, that's the Kosminski University property. It cannot happen.
Never won't happen.
Yeah.
If you get frustrated and you see that your plan is broken, and you just choke. So you need to be flexible. If something happens, you see if you have clear what is your goal, so you just turn left and take again the way to whatever you want to achieve. So I think that is the goal, because it's not about the way, it's not about the process. The process is just a medium, but it's the real meaning is what do you want to achieve. So if you need to broke the process, broke it, but not for having fun. There have to be a good reason why we are changing the plan.
The next question is about how to keep balance between key performance indicators and fun. No, having fun. No, I was joking. The last question is about recommendations. So just imagine that we have the student startup and they consider entering LATAM market. What would be your advice?
Go buy a ticket now.
Buy a ticket now. Okay.
Go and have fun. Meet the people. Meet the culture. In Latin America, we are super extremely open to foreigners. We really want that people come and arrive and see and share with us. This is the first thing. And if you feel that feeling that you can, for example, make business with us, that's going to be the consequence. So I think that is super important to understand if your business culture fit with our business culture, because as you say, a lot of Polish people is focused on the process. We are extremely flexible, yeah, and we have things that they are nice. For example, we are not so punctual with meetings, and for example, European average because the person wasn't at this exact hour on that meeting. But as Latin Americans, we are flexible on that. And I know that that is unrespectful with the person that you have a meeting. But if you are going to make business with that region, you need to understand the culture that affect you or not, if you can keep in the flow or not. So I would say first, try the culture, and after that, start like a startup model. Just start to try a little bit, learn, and after that, it's going to becoming a stronger and biggest business relationship.
Sounds really tasty. Thank you for the coffee. Thank you for the conversation.
I hope that you enjoyed.
Thank you. Yes, I did.
Thank you, Monica.